Some people spend their entire lives grieving something they cannot quite name. Not a breakup, not a death, not a single event you could point to and say, "This is the wound. This is the day my heart broke." Something heavier than all of those, something quieter, something that does not show up in the obvious places, so most of the world never sees it. They are grieving the feeling of never being chosen. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know what I am talking about. You felt something turn over inside your chest when you read the title. You may have been carrying this exact sadness for so long that it has stopped feeling like sadness. It has started feeling like the weather inside your life. So before anything else, I want to say this to you, quietly, honestly, the way I would say it if we were sitting in the same room with the lamps low and there was no one else listening. You are not imagining it. What you are carrying is real. It has a shape, it has a history, and for the next little while I would like to sit with it beside you. No advice, no fixing, no telling you to think positive, manifest love, or just believe in yourself. Just truth. The kind of truth that finally explains why you've been so tired for so long. There is a grief in this world that does not come with flowers, it does not come with cards. There is no service to attend. There is no casserole on your doorstep, no one says, "I'm so sorry for your loss." Because there is no body to point to, no name to write on a card, no clean ending the world can rally around. It is the grief of being almost loved, the grief of being almost picked, the grief of being almost the one. It is the grief of every birthday party where someone else's name was on the cake and you smiled and held the camera. It is the grief of every wedding you went to alone and clapped for. It is the grief of every late-night phone call from a friend who needed you, who you knew in your bones would not have called you first if their better friend had picked up. It is the grief of being the bookmark, not the story. It is the grief of being someone's emergency contact, but not their first call when something good happens. It is the grief of always being told that you would make someone such a wonderful partner by people who are not choosing to be your partner. If something in you just exhaled at that, if your chest got tight, or your eyes stung, or some small voice inside you whispered, "Yes, that's it. Please stay with me. You are exactly where you are supposed to be." This grief is hidden because the world does not have a category for it. We have words for divorce. We have words for bereavement. We have words for heartbreak. But there is no word for the slow, almost invisible mourning of a person who has spent decades being just outside the frame of other people's love. There is no word for the friend who was loved but never prioritized. There is no word for the child who was fed and clothed but never quite seen. There is no word for the partner who was wanted enough to be kept around, but never wanted enough to be truly chosen. And so the grief sits inside you with no name, no ritual, no place to put it down. And because no one ever named it, you started to wonder if maybe the problem was you. Maybe you were being dramatic. Maybe you were ungrateful. Maybe you should be happy with the love you do receive instead of mourning the love that has always seemed to land just over there in someone else's arms instead. So you kept quiet about it. You smiled at the wedding. You sent the congratulations text. You stood in the back of the group photo. And the grief stayed. It just stayed. It is still there. Even now, even tonight, even as you are listening to this voice, somewhere in your chest, it is humming quietly underneath everything. I know. I know. Most people who carry this wound did not learn it in adulthood. They learned it in a small body, a body that was paying attention long before it had language for what it was paying attention to, a body that was tracking every single day the question all children silently ask of the adults around them. Do I matter? Am I seen? Am I worth turning toward? For some of us, the answer that came back was not cruel. It was simply distracted, inconsistent quiet. Maybe you were the easy one, the good one, the one whose mood stayed manageable, whose room stayed clean, whose grades stayed high, and so attention drifted naturally toward the louder, sicker, more dramatic siblings, because they were the ones with the obvious need. You were so capable, so fine, so forgettable, in the gentlest possible way. Maybe your house was loud, and you learned that the safest way to live in it was to disappear softly, to make no waves. You make no waves, too. Maybe your house was loud, and you learned that the safest way to live in it was to disappear softly, to make no waves, to take up the smallest possible amount of space. And then no one noticed when the disappearing became you. Maybe you watched a sibling be apologized to, and you were told you would be fine. Maybe you brought home the better grade and waited at the dinner table for a comment about it that never came. Maybe you were told, again and again, how independent you were. And only now, all these years later, are you beginning to realize that independent was the word the adults around you used for the child who had stopped asking, because no one was coming anyway? Please hear me. I am not asking you to blame anyone for this. The people who raised you were carrying their own stories, their own fatigue, their own private wounds. Many of them loved you very much, in the only ways they knew how. Some of them would be devastated if they understood what their distraction had built inside you. But love and attention are not the same thing. And when you are very small, the only way you can know you are loved is by being chosen, over and over, in small, daily, almost invisible ways. A child does not need a parade. A child does not need grand gestures. A child needs someone to walk past their room, see they have gone quiet, and stop to kneel down, to say, "What's going on inside there, sweetheart?" If that did not happen often enough, or if it happened to someone else more often than it happened to you, your young self did not conclude that the adults around you were limited. Your young self concluded something much smaller, much more devastating. Something that would quietly shape the next 30 years of your life without ever announcing itself. There must be something about me that doesn't quite earn it. And once a child decides that, they spend the rest of their life trying to argue with it. They build a whole personality around the argument. This is where the wound stops being a memory and becomes a posture. You don't remember deciding it. You just notice, somewhere in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, that you have been moving through your life leaning slightly forward. Like you are always trying to be a little more useful, a little more agreeable, a little more low maintenance than you actually are. You become the friend who remembers everyone's birthday, who organizes the gifts, who keeps the group chat alive, and whose own birthday goes mostly uncelebrated. And you tell yourself it doesn't matter, that you don't need a fuss, that you are simply not that kind of person. But somewhere, in the quietest corner of you, it does matter. It does matter. You become the person who is texted at 11 at night, not 7, because 7 is for the people they want to spend their evening with. 11 is for the ones they reach for when the better plans have already gone home. You learn to be available. You become very, very good at being available. You become the partner who knows their lover's favorite movie, the way they take their coffee, the names of every cousin, the dream they had at 15, and whose own preferences seem to evaporate the moment anyone asks what you would like to do tonight. You shrug a lot. You say, I don't mind. You say, whatever you want. You say it so often that it almost becomes true. But it isn't true. You become the friend who is described as wonderful in past tense. She was always so thoughtful. He used to send me the longest, kindest text. You become the employee who works twice as hard for half the recognition, because somewhere deep down you still believe that being indispensable is the same thing as being loved. You become the one who said yes when their whole body was screaming no, because you were so afraid that one no would be the no that ended everything. You are everywhere in everyone else's life, and almost nowhere in your own. And here is the part that nobody ever quite warns you about. You watch other people get chosen, and something in you that you cannot quite explain begins to ache. The friend who got engaged first, the colleague who got pulled aside for the promotion, the sibling whose phone is the one that rings when something good happens, the acquaintance who is always in the center of the photograph, while you are the one cropped at the edge, smiling, because you are happy just to be invited. You are not jealous of them. You are not bitter. You would not wish anything bad on them. You are just so tired. Tired of being glad for everyone. Tired of being the gracious one. Tired of standing in the back row of every group photo of your own life. And the strange thing, the part that has always been the hardest to explain to anyone, is that most of the people who never chose you were not cruel. They were not villains. They liked you. They spoke warmly of you. They would probably say, if you asked them, that you mattered to them. But somewhere between liking you and choosing you is a gap you have lived inside for as long as you can remember, and you have never quite figured out how to cross it. That gap is the country of this grief. You have been a citizen of that country for a very long time. There is a specific kind of pain that comes from being treated like an option when, for the other person, you are never quite a priority. It is a quiet pain. It does not make a sound. You can carry it for years without anyone around you noticing. You are not exactly being mistreated. You are just being held loosely. You are being kept on a shelf, in case they are bored, in case the plan they wanted falls through, in case the person they were waiting for does not text back, in case it is a Tuesday, and they need someone to listen, and you are reliable, and you always answer, and you have never once made them feel like an inconvenience. So they reach for you, and you light up. Because you have spent so much of your life on the shelf that even being reached for feels like being loved. It isn't. It is being remembered. There is a difference between being remembered and being chosen, and the difference is the difference between surviving and being seen. You can be remembered by someone who will never plan their week around you. You can be remembered by someone who likes you very much, but who is saving the real reach of their heart for someone else. you can be remembered fondly while still being last. And the cruelest part of the option not a priority life is this: it teaches you to be grateful for the bare minimum. A reply within 24 hours feels like a gift. An unprompted thinking of you text becomes the highlight of your week. A spontaneous invitation feels almost holy. Even when you know, it came because someone else canceled first. You become an expert in the math of attention. You learn to read every signal, you measure response times. You notice the small shift in someone's tone. You can tell from a single emoji whether you are being held close or held at a distance. And nobody around you has any idea that you are doing all of this calculation every single day, just to stay sure of your place in the lives of people who, if asked, would say casually, "Oh yes, I love them." Love, in that mouth, means something very different than what it means in yours. You know that? You have always known that. You just kept hoping you were wrong. There are certain rooms where this grief gets louder. You know the ones. The wedding reception where you watch your friend dance with the person who chose them, while you sit at the table and laugh a little too brightly at the jokes of the person beside you. The family dinner where everyone is asking about everyone else's partner, and the conversation moves around you the way water moves around a stone. The work event where someone says, "And who did you bring tonight?" And you smile and say, "Just me," and you mean it, and you don't mean it, and the smiling hurts your face by the end of the night. There are certain days where it gets louder too. Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, the wedding season every summer, the holidays you spend with someone else's family again, because your own family quietly stopped asking. The birthday that came and went with 3 texts. On those days, the grief is not hidden. On those days, you can almost hold it in your hands. And the question rises, the way it always does. The question you spend most of the rest of the year pretending not to ask. Why does it keep being everyone else? Why has it never been me? It is a fair question. You have earned the right to ask it, and in just a few minutes I am gonna give you the answer that the question was never able to find on its own. But first I need to sit with you in the asking, because the asking itself is sacred. The asking is the sound of a heart that refused to go numb, even after everything. If you grew up this way, the wound teaches you something else. And this is one of the hardest parts to admit out loud. It teaches you to mistake intensity for love. You learn to feel most alive in the relationships where you are working hardest, the ones where affection is intermittent, the ones where you have to read every room, the ones where you can never quite relax, because relaxing might be the moment they slip away. Calm relationship feels suspicious to you. Quiet love feels like the absence of love. You meet someone who treats you well, consistently, predictably, kindly, and you feel a strange flatness instead of joy. You think, where is the spark? You think maybe I don't really love them. Please hear this. That is not your truth, that is your training. When love had to be earned, your nervous system learned that the working was the loving, the wondering was the wanting, the chasing was the closeness. So calm doesn't read as safety to you yet. Calm reads as being forgotten. That is why you stayed in relationships you knew in your bones were never gonna choose you. Long after the evidence was in, long after the friends had stopped asking how it was going, because they didn't know what to say anymore. You stayed because leaving meant admitting that you had been giving your most precious years to someone who, in the quiet moments of their own life, was waiting for someone else. You stayed because crumbs feel like a meal when you have spent your whole life starving. You stayed because at least the crumbs were predictable. You stayed because somewhere, somehow, you had started to believe that this exhausting half-love was what was on offer for someone like you. And it breaks my heart to say that out loud, because it has never been true. It has never, ever been true. Here's the question that has lived underneath all of it, the question you have probably never let yourself ask out loud, because asking it would mean admitting how much it hurts. What is wrong with me that I am always the one who has to try so hard to be kept? That is the question, isn't it? That is what you have been carrying into every new room, every first date, every job interview, every party, every visit home, every text exchange with someone whose attention feels like a tide you cannot predict. Will they keep me this time? And if they don't, what is it about me? So I wanna answer that question right now, slowly, plainly, with my whole heart. Nothing is wrong with you. Not the version of you who tried too hard, not the version of you who stayed too long, not the version of you who waited at the kitchen table for someone to come downstairs and ask about your day. Not the version of you who kept showing up to the friendship that was always gonna be lopsided. Not the version of you who fell in love with someone who could only love you back in the smallest, most occasional way, and called it patience. None of it was evidence, all of it was hope. And hope in a heart that was never properly chosen is not a flaw. It is not weakness, it is not a sign that something is broken in you. It is one of the most stubborn, beautiful, holy things a human being can carry. You kept believing in love even when love kept walking past you. That is not a defect, that is a a quiet kind of courage that most people have never had to learn. But there is a misunderstanding underneath this grief, and I wanna name it now, because naming it is where the healing finally begins. The misunderstanding is this: somewhere along the way you started to believe that being chosen was the same thing as being worthy. You started to believe that if the right person had picked you, the question would have been answered, that your value was something that lived in someone else's decision, that the proof of you was hidden. It never has. A person's ability to choose you is not a measurement of your worth. It is a measurement of their bandwidth. It is a measurement of their fear. It is a measurement of their own inheritance. The patterns they grew up with, the love they did or didn't see modeled, the things they are still running from inside themselves. Their choice was a confession of them. It was never a verdict on you. A song is not less beautiful because it played in an empty room. A painting is not less moving because the person standing in front of it was looking at their phone. A flower is not less radiant because no one was in the garden the morning it opened. You are not less worth choosing because the people around you were too tired, too distracted, too wounded, too busy choosing someone else to truly see what was standing right in front of them. I know how badly the heart wants to collapse those two ideas into one. The heart says, if I had been enough, they would have stayed. The heart says, if I had been enough, I would have been the favorite. The heart says their choice is the answer to the question of me. But the heart is wrong about this. The heart was just trying to make sense of something that hurt too much to be left as a random fact. The heart needed an explanation, so it offered the cruelest one it could find. This must be about me. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. So here's the sentence I want you to write down somewhere, or save, or simply carry with you when you leave this video. You do not have to be chosen in order to be worthy of being chosen. Read it again, slowly. You do not have to be chosen in order to be worthy of being chosen. Your worth was not waiting in someone else's mouth. It was not folded inside their decision. It was not contingent on whether the person you loved most happened to love you back in the same shape, at the same time, with the same urgency. It was here before they arrived. It will be here long after they are gone. Most of the work of healing this wound is not the work of finally being picked. That is the trap. The trap is believing that one more relationship, one more promotion, one more transformation, one more achievement will finally be the thing that does it. That this time, if the right person looks at you and chooses you, the ache will go quiet. It won't. I am sorry, I wanted to, I really do, but it won't. Because the ache is not really about them, it never was. The ache is about a much younger version of you, sitting somewhere in your past, who decided that the verdict on your worth lived in someone else's hands. And they have been waiting, ever since, for those hands to finally open. You can take the verdict back, quietly today, with no announcement and no permission. You can take the verdict back right now, while you are listening to this voice, while the music plays, while the world goes on around you. You can take it back tonight. I want to talk about what choosing yourself actually looks like. Because the internet has made it sound like a dramatic act, a bold exit, a power move, a hashtag. It isn't. the real thing is much smaller, much quieter, and much more powerful. Choosing yourself is the slow, almost invisible practice of ending the audition. It is being the one who finally asks yourself what you actually want for dinner, and then making it. Not what is convenient, not what is impressive, not what other people would approve of, just what you want. It is the refusal to send the third follow-up text when you have already sent two, and they have not replied. It is leaving the group chat that drains you. It is sitting inside a calm relationship without manufacturing a problem just so the dynamic feels familiar again. It is the moment you catch yourself starting to apologize for an opinion you haven't even said out loud yet. And you stop, and you say it, and you do not soften it into oblivion. It is the moment you realize that you have been making yourself smaller in front of someone for weeks, and you decide, today, not to. It is the moment you watch someone else get chosen, the friend who got engaged, the colleague who got the call, the sibling whose news got the cheer. And instead of crumpling into the old story, you feel a small wave of sadness, and then you feel something else. You feel okay. Not happy, not faking it, just okay. Just here, just yours, just enough. That is the moment everything changes. The first time you stay your full size, and the world does not end. You will not believe it the first time. You will think it was a fluke. You will keep waiting for the punishment that the old wound told you was coming, and it will not come. And one day you will look up, and the audition will be over, because you finally stopped showing up to it. There is something else I need you to hear before we close this conversation. This is the part I most wish someone had told the younger version of you, the one who was waiting, the one who never quite understood what was wrong. You were never hard to love. You were bringing your love to people who did not yet know how to receive it. People with their own private griefs. People with their own divided attention. People who had been hurt in ways they had not begun to understand, and who looked past you. Not because you weren't lovely, but because they had not yet learned how to see anything tenderly. Not even themselves. A flower does not grow less beautiful when it blooms in a room where nobody is looking. It just blooms unwitnessed. You bloomed unwitnessed. That is the grief. That is exactly the grief. But here is what the grief, for all its weight, could never take from you. You bloomed anyway. Through every overlooked birthday, every uneven friendship, every relationship where you gave more than you got and called it love because you didn't know what else to call it. Every promotion that went to someone else. Every dinner table where you waited to be asked about your day. You bloomed anyway. You did not get bitter. You did not become unkind. You did not stop trying. You did not become the kind of person who shuts the door on love because love had shut so many doors on you. You stayed soft. You stayed open. You stayed you. That is one of the most remarkable things I have ever heard about a person. That is not the story of someone who wasn't chosen. That is the story of someone who has been quietly, daily, unmistakably choosing love for everyone around them, for their entire life. It is time for someone to choose you back, and I think you already know who that someone has to be. I want to bring us full circle before we end. told you at the beginning that some people spend their entire lives grieving something they cannot quite name. Now I want to give it its real name. The hidden grief was never that they didn't choose you. The hidden grief was believing that their choice determined your worth. Read that again. When you have a moment, sit with it. The pain you have been carrying was not the pain of being unwanted. It was the pain of believing that being wanted by someone else was the same thing as being worthy of being wanted at all. It wasn't. It never was. They're not choosing you, did not lower your worth by a single degree. It just meant their eyes were tired, their lives were full, their hearts were elsewhere. Their map of love did not include the kind of love you would have been beautiful inside of. That is all. That is all it ever was. You can put down the weight of being someone's first choice now. You can put down the weight of being everyone's favorite. You can put down the weight of being the unforgettable one, the irreplaceable one, the one who finally proves they should have been chosen all along. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to win anything. You don't have to perform anything. The verdict was never theirs to give. It was always, always, always yours. I want you to do something for me if you can. Wherever you are right now, on a couch, in a bed, in a parked car, on a walk, I want you to place a hand somewhere on your body. Your chest, maybe, or your stomach, or the back of your own neck. Wherever feels right. And I want you to feel the warmth of your own hand. I want you to notice that there is someone here. There has been someone here this whole time. Through every overlooked moment, every late night cry, every party where you smiled and held the camera, every door that closed before you got there, every relationship that ended without explanation, every birthday that passed without the call. Someone was here. You were here. You did not abandon yourself, even when you thought you had nothing left. You kept getting up. You kept making the bed. You kept showing up for people who barely showed up for you. You kept loving, quietly, faithfully, without applause. You were the one who stayed. You are still the one who stays. You don't have to wait for anyone to walk into your life and confirm that you were worth choosing all along. You are looking at the proof. You are being the proof. Right now. With your hand on your own heart, with your tears finally allowed to fall for the right reason. With the soft, slow understanding settling into your chest that the grief was never the truth about you. The grief was just a long, painful misunderstanding. And misunderstandings end. This one ends here. Before you go, please remember this. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not the leftover version of a person who should have been chosen earlier. You are someone who survived the long winter of feeling overlooked and somehow kept the seeds of love alive inside you anyway. That is not a small thing. That is the whole miracle. The people who are meant to choose you, and there will be such people. And some of them are already on their way to you. And some of them have already arrived in small ways you have not yet noticed. those people are not gonna make you whole. You will already be whole when they meet you. Their love will not be the proof. Their love will be the welcome. And the most important person who will ever choose you was already chosen today. In this room, in this quiet moment, in the slow, soft turning of your own hand on your own chest, that person is you. That person was always going to be you. And I am so glad you finally noticed them. Be gentle with yourself tonight. The grief is allowed to stay a little while longer if it needs to. You don't have to rush it out the door. You can simply hold it the way you would hold an old friend who is finally being seen. But you no longer have to mistake it for the truth about you. You are worthy. You always were. You always were. Take a breath, a slow one. And then, when you are ready, and not a moment before, get up and walk softly into the rest of your life. The one where you choose yourself. The one that has been waiting for you all